My husband insists on having threesomes and sex with others despite my discomfort and our shared faith. I reluctantly agreed to please him, compromising my beliefs and risking my health. After 2 years and multiple partners, I feel disgusted and regretful. I fear saying no might ruin our marriage, lead to divorce or health risks, but I can't continue living this way while trying to please both God and my husband. What should I do?
That's a real difficult conundrum to find yourself in. And I think one of the most important things about this is to step back and understand what the healthy role of sexuality is in a relationship and what it isn't. We live in a time when there's a lot of confusion around sex and sexuality and the role of sex in relationships. And one of the most important roles of healthy sexuality is the power that it has to bind us together. Sex is a very vulnerable act on its own, and it's innately vulnerable. And the mechanism that creates connection is when somebody is willing to risk, somebody's vulnerable, and the other person responds well to that vulnerability. And so when you're physically naked and engaging in sexual behavior, there's a lot of inherent risk in that situation that provides the opportunity to feel safe. Well, when you're asked or doing things that are incongruent with your beliefs, it violates the sense of safety inherently. And when you feel like you have to choose between your values and your spouse or your partner, that puts you in a real no-win situation. And so the likelihood is that there's a big difference between dopamine sex and oxytocin sex or intimate sex. Studies have actually shown that depending on the type of sexual behavior that we engage in, our brains literally release different chemicals. And when the goal is to get off or to see how much we can get off, the primary chemical that's released is dopamine. Dopamine is the reward neurotransmitter, and it creates desire for the thing that we've done to trigger that release. And oxytocin is also referred to as the cuddle hormone. And when we have intimate sex, when we have vulnerable connective sex, oxytocin is released and it helps create feelings of love and bonding. And so I would step back right from the start and say, okay, what are we trying to accomplish from our sexual relationship? And it sounds to me like your husband is probably trying to accomplish more of a dopamine reward, more of like, how exciting can we make this? How much can we get off? And that is not the healthy objective of sex in a relationship. And so you're missing the mark in terms of what the healthy role of sex is. And so the advice that I would give you is to put up a boundary. It's not fair of your partner to ask you to compromise your values in order for sexual gratification. A threesome or having sex with multiple partners when you're in a committed relationship is not a value. It's not a need, but there are some healthy needs that you can only healthfully get met in that main primary attachment relationship in your life. And those needs are mattering. Feeling uniquely special, your husband is letting you engage in, is violating that. It's making you feel unspecial, unimportant, devalued, and unsafe. And so it's actually violating the core purposes, healthy purposes of your relationship. And I would absolutely encourage you to put up a boundary there and put it back on him and say, I'm not comfortable doing this. I'm not saying, I mean, unless you are, but I'm not saying that I don't want to be with you sexually. And I'm not saying that I don't want to divorce or I want to leave you. What I'm saying is that I'm not willing to violate my values in this way. And I don't like the results of it. I don't like what it's doing in my relationship with you, because it's probably making you feel more disconnected, less safe, more devalued. And so you need to decide, if you want to stay with me, you need to be willing to be monogamous and to be faithful to me sexually, so that our sexual relationship can be what it is healthfully supposed to be. And see if he's willing to get back in line with health. Healthy works. Unhealthy doesn't. And we get unhealthy for all kinds of different reasons, but unhealthy doesn't work, and healthy does work across time. So hopefully that's helpful. So if I could just give you one bit of advice on that, it would be to stop. It's not going to work. And your husband shouldn't be using you as a tool to gratify unhealthy sexual behavior and making you feel guilty for not engaging in that. you are totally fine to put up a boundary there. Not only fine, it is healthy to put up a boundary, and it is unhealthy of him to be expecting you to do these things. And the effect that you're feeling on your self-esteem, the safety in your relationship, the devaluation that you're feeling, that's how you should feel. That's how that kind of behavior makes you feel. And so it's not like you're doing something wrong in not being okay with this. That behavior is not okay.